Well,
Oh yeah.
so today we had something we wanted to talk about, and we're going to talk together about our bad past job experiences. Everybody
Ooh.
got one ready for us? Something that happened at work or something that you can
Oh
talk
yeah.
about that
I
won't get
can
you in trouble?
I can start it
Uh-oh.
out if you'd like.
Sure, go for
Yeah,
it.
I was a third key manager at a place called Suncoast Video.
Oh,
Ah.
they
Uh,
probably don't exist, right?
out here they don't anymore, but they do still exist.
Okay, you're safe.
Uh, and it was in the Torrance Delama Mall, and I had to open up the store in the mornings. And sometimes run a little late, not super late. But the worst part is eating your breakfast really fast, not having already handled everything, if you get my drift, what you do in the morning, and having to open up the store like 5 minutes late because I'm stuck on the toilet in the store.
Oh.
And then my boss is ringing on the phone. You're not in the bathroom again, are you?
Not
It's like,
again.
yeah, not again, man. Come on, bro. He's like, you can't time that at home.
That's a
I'm sorry.
oh my
Then
gosh.
It's
I'd
like
have this, yeah,
lava.
yeah, I'd have this, yeah, seriously, yeah. I'd have this old guy like shake the gate. Are you open? Hello, hello. It's 10 o'clock.
My Viagra's gonna wear off. I need the porn now.
Right.
Oh yeah, But that's one of mine. Anybody else want to share?
I
Hey,
have to be vague with mine because I got screwed over anyway. But I wear hearing aids. I lost a good part of my hearing, and I have really bad, permanent, severe tinnitus.
Hmm.
Um, I lost it at work, and I had such an incompetent supervisor. As soon as I lost it, I let him know. I'm like, "Hey, uh, this plane just passed by on our like on our lot, and my hearing went completely out." I had to text him because I couldn't really hear. And he was like, "Oh, I'm really sorry for you." And I'm like, "I really can't hear. I need to go to a doctor." He's like, "Okay, you can go to your doctor." And so I went to my doctor, and they're like, "This, you have to go to an ear doctor. You have to go to ENT." And so I went to an ENT and so forth. They confirmed that I had hearing loss and all this. And I kept requesting urgent care. So here's the thing, guys. You need to go to a work doctor. Like, they have to refer you to a doctor. It's necessary. I asked for one and I was denied one repeatedly. But if you don't know, if you get injured at work, make sure that you beg for one. If not, get on the phone with a lawyer. It took me a little bit longer. I should have gotten on the phone with a lawyer immediately instead.
Uh,
Just remember that HR isn't there for you. They're there for the company that they work for. I learned that the hard way. It's been about, I think I think 3 years already. But yeah, make sure you document everything. Emails, text messages, just that's the only
everything.
thing that saved me. I got not lucky, but had I not done that, it would have been a complete lost cause. And I still fighting for the medical attention that I begged for a long time ago.
So,
Yeah,
I mean,
wow.
my,
but
my father said
document
everything
everything.
changed when they went from employee relations, which is what it used to be called, to human resources. So the department was employee relations, and they used to have a relationship with the employees, and then it became human resources. They'll build our pyramid. So
Yeah. So just this is just an FYI to everybody. Just make sure that if you get injured at work, you notify your employer right away, and make sure that you have that documented, and then make sure that you ask for medical attention from them. They have to refer you to their urgent care of choice or whatever doctor, whatever they refer you to. And if they don't do that, you got on the phone with a attorney immediately, because it could be something that takes a while. And unfortunately, I found out the hard way after going on Reddit and going into a couple of subreddits for workers' comp that it's very common. And because we don't know this initially, that's why it gets to the point that it gets prolonged for years. There are some people that are still fighting their claims like a decade later.
Wow. Wow. My worst job experience, it was just very annoying. I was a pregnant woman working for a charity, and it had just become a very difficult job to do, and people weren't very nice, and I started looking for another job, and not great wisdom, but I was an assistant with another assistant, so we would, we kind of had the run of the office. So I snuck my resume out through the fax machine because that's where we were. But let me see, the woman who ran the charity had a home in like Malibu. And I guess she thought highly of my work, but there were other people, I'll say it like that, would come into the office, and they had gone through my things and found out, right, that I was looking for another job. And so she cornered me one day at her freaking house in Malibu, like, well, when are you quitting? I was like, I didn't say anything about quitting. Well, you're looking for another job. I was like, but I haven't tendered a resume. She was like, but when? I said, I don't have a date. I said, because the thing was, she didn't want to be responsible for unemployment. And if she fired me, then I'd be eligible for unemployment. So she was trying to force me to resign. I said, I'm not resigning. I said, if I find another job, but I don't have it. Well, when are you, is it? I said, I don't. But it was very frustrating. It was very like, I have to say, it's my child is grown, and that annoys me. And me and that woman have made amends. I've seen her, and she just has like recommended me glowingly for all these things. But I just felt like that was the wrongest ish I had ever been through. And everybody that I talked to basically said that there was nothing I could really do, because on their spot, you, it's not that your property is not your property, but they have a right to whatever is in that space. It was just the craziest ish I had ever been through. And I just thought, this is awful. Like, this is awful. And I just couldn't believe it. And when I talked to an attorney about it, there's not a lot you can do. Like, your case is, I'm praying right now, but it's California's an at-will state. And so I wasn't contracted. So I think that was the interesting thing about it. So at the end, it was just kind of this standoff, because it's not an at-will state. You're going to have to fire me if you want me to go. And I don't have to leave if I don't, if I'm not ready to go, if I don't have another job, you can't make me resign, but you can fire me. That is your choice. And it was just, it was just the wonkiest ish I have ever. I was like, what? Anyway, so that's my bad work experiences. Yeah. I feel like we deal with that, like these horrific politics, and it's just kind of the great movie Triumph of the Will, and that's what it turns out to be. Like, whose will is the strongest in this situation?
Yeah, I think the other one that I can bring up really quick or shortly is when I worked at Quiznos. I had a boss. He was from China. He could be nice every now and then, but he would. I was told to me later by another person that worked there that spoke his language that he didn't like me very much, so he would say bad things about me in Chinese. And to get me to move faster, you know how Quiznos has those little hot trays the sandwiches sit on when they go through the conveyors? He would hold it with tongs and burn my arm.
Oh my gosh.
Yep, to make me move faster. No bullshit.
How old
Everything
were you?
I have to say sounds weak now.
Like, how old were you?
This was maybe over 10 years ago.
So
11, 12 years ago.
You were grown up though.
Oh yeah, no, and I'm not gonna lie, because I'm a human as much as anybody else. I'm not a violent person, but I wanted to punch the shit out of this guy.
Did you know that he wanted? Did you know he was doing it on purpose?
The cashier lady would tell me that he's a pretty aggressive guy, and he finds indirect things to do that he claims are accidents. And she explained to me when he walked away that wasn't the first time she'd seen something like that happen. But that's not even the worst part. The worst part is when when the lady told him, she's been there like 5 years at the time when I was there, to get burn ointment, he refused. So she had to leave the register, have a customer wait. They get the burn ointment, then put the burn ointment on my arm, and then she rung up the person. But he didn't say anything the whole time. He just stayed in the back after that. Happened to me twice with him.
That's just it's a prick and a half. I mean, I guess I'll go but I can't top that, Stefan.
That's not even the worst of them. That's just one of them.
So I've actually quite a few, and I'll bring it up. First of all, my first job, I was a courtesy clerk at a supermarket. Do you know what that is?
The greeter?
bag boy. Say the right goddamn word. It's a bag
Okay.
boy or bag girl.
Pick
And, you know, no matter what age you are, it's bag boy or a bag girl. Just deal with that shit, okay? And to work your way up to register if you don't like it. I did not, because I was, you know, like, hey, man, this is enough, and my 16 hours is great. But there's this one lady, there was a couple crazy customers that would come in, right? So we had one customer come in, she go, can you help me out to the car? And everybody knew she has animals in the car. So you get to the car, there's a parrot sitting there on the top of the seat. And she goes, put the bags in. Don't worry, he won't bite. And the whole time you're doing it, he's like, ah, ah, ah. And you're like, what do you mean? You must have cataracts, bitch. And so, yeah, we had this other lady that came in. It's like closing shift. And you're just like, she comes in and I go, paper or plastic? It's the routine, okay? Back then it was. Back then, because I'm old. Somewhat. So I go, paper or plastic? She goes, I come in here all the time. I always get paper inside of plastic. Why don't you guys know what it is? I go, oh.
Karen.
This is before that, but yes, she was the crazy cat lady. And we knew she was a cat lady because you know the smell. Yeah,
right.
yeah, you know, you're not supposed to keep the hamper by the litter box. Everyone needs to know that. And then the worst thing actually came from the company itself. They had this thing where anybody that had 2 or more bags, by the time you end up bagging it, you were supposed to ask them, do you want help out? Now, this was after I'd been there for a couple of years. You establish a relationship with the customers, but I get a new manager. And this manager's all Mrs. Corporate. You know, like, and so I'm bagging right there. And this guy in a wheelchair, we all know he's a weightlifter from the waist up, of course. And he just rolls up, and I have 3 bags, and she stares at me, and I'm like, no. She stares at me. I look at him. I go, do you need help out? And he just gives me this look like, you know me, dude. I'm like, he can kick my ass from the chair. Why are you doing this to me, manager? I mean, he's a weightlifter. Like the upper half of him was just ugh, and the other half was for aerodynamics, I guess. But
right.
And then the other bad job, I guess I could say, is pizza driver. I think that's all I have to say. No, but I've had a guy, when you deliver a pizza, you give him the pizza, turns around, throws change at me, and goes, "That's all," and closes the door. And I count it. I go, he shorted me 50 cents. You know, if you don't tip me, I'm not paying 50 cents for you. Sorry, I drove here with my gas. By the way, delivery charge doesn't go to the driver at all. That's so they can pay for the insurance because they keep hiring drunks to drive at night.
Oh,
you want to hear something? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, but the thing is I knock on the door. Eventually, his wife comes out. She's just like, "I'm really sorry. I'm sorry." But go ahead. I got a couple more to get through. But what were you gonna say, Stefan?
No, I was gonna say my buddy who I play on PS4 with, and on PC now. He worked for, I believe it was Pizza Hut, and I don't remember all of the story, but I know that he went to deliver the pizza. The guy was I don't remember if he was naked or had underwear on, but it was both is horrible. And because it was somewhat dim in the room when he went to deliver the pizza, he didn't see the guy had a gun. No bullshit.
Yeah,
Motherfucker had a gun, and he told him, put the pizza on the table, and I want you to get on your knees and start taking your clothes off. So as the guy went to turn around to get a slice of pizza, he booked it out the door as fast as he could.
Oh my gosh!
Oh
Did he call
my
the
God.
police?
jeez.
And that was in Arizona.
Yeah, we had a 70-year-old driver that was actually he was actually held at gunpoint for the money in his pocket. So luckily, he was the guy that would hide his cash somewhere else. Yeah.
You want to check there, fella?
Okay.
No, inside the car. But a couple
okay.
more I just got to get through. I just got a couple more to get through. So I was a boom operator for a while.
Oh, nice.
You know, because I don't have the talent to be an extra. So I was doing boom operating once, and you know what blocking is? Blocking is when you max out the scene. So we're doing this club scene, right? So I have to get in there for the sound because they want sound from the middle of the dance floor. So I'm watching as the AD is having this girl. She's, oh, you got to go in. You're at the edge of frame. So I stay behind her, right? And I'm there the whole blocking. So we go. So he goes, okay, action. We start. Suddenly the DP goes, stop, cut, boom. not my name. Boom! You're in the shot. And I go, well, you should have opened your fucking stupid eyes during blocking, bitch. And it was awkward for about 2 hours. But I kept the job because who else are they going to get for $25 a day?
Oh my God.
Oh, it was horrible. And by the way, that's what it's like when you start in the entertainment industry. How bad do you want it, huh? And it's like, so I'm glad we're catching the Weinsteins now.
Oh, you mean an
Yeah,
ugly walking human meatball
yeah.
with arms
And
and
then
legs?
I got just one last one. So, being a recording engineer sounds like a dream job. Every 1 out of 10 bands you work with is great. The other ones are the guys that the guy played with a limp wrist the whole time and then goes, why can't you make me sound like Metallica? Because you don't play like Metallica, bitch. Like, you just don't. A drummer, hey man, can't you just trigger that? And I go, first of all, to trigger your drums, you have to be above the noise threshold so I can actually see them. Next time,
Right.
hit them instead of pretending to hit them while I record you.
Yeah, like they want you to hit the pro button. Oh, I'm sorry, guys, I messed up. Here, let me hit the pro button.
Even better than that. Oh, dude. So the last one I'm going to tell, I know we got some other ones, but last one I'm going to tell. This group called, and their working name was MX Lightsticks. Horrible. That was just a working name. This guy that reminds me this day of Tommy Wiseau. Before I knew about Tommy Wiseau, comes in with this. She's a pretty girl, and so another engineer has done the music portion. I'm coming in because he's not feeling well to finish his shift. So he goes. Okay, now it's time. And now it's time to go in there, you do your vocals, okay? She gets in there, and I swear they played the song at the end of South Park once where she's just like, comes out, and we're listening, and he just goes, oh, he will just do the recording magic, make you sound beautiful, darling. You look good. That's all that matters. And it's like, no, I'm not good enough. You came to a $25 an hour studio, and you think I'm going to turn shit into gold? Like, no. And so what I did is I tried to mix it. They complained. My boss came in. He went to go mix it, and he goes, you're kidding, right? And they're like, what? And he goes, you should probably just go, and I'll give you back the rest of your money. He's like, I can't even fix this. I'm the boss. I can't even fix any of this. And I swear they played it at the end of South Park once. Like, somehow South Park got a copy of that. But yes.
Wow.
Stacey, you were going to say one more thing?
Oh yeah, Ronnie actually mentioned that he was a GM for a hotel. Okay. I love the company that I worked for. The only bad experience is the only bad company I worked for was the one that I'm dealing with right now. But I worked for a hotel too, and it was the craziest thing. I've never had so many one-time experiences in my life. So I was renting a house next to my job. By the way, I started working with them when I was 17. They're like, hey, just say you're 18 so you can start working here. I'm like, okay, cool. And so I had maybe like a 5-minute drive from my house to the resort. And it was snowing. This was in Virginia. This was Williamsburg, Virginia. Snowing so bad, like snow was up to your waist. And I was like, hey, I can't come in because I'm literally snowed in. And my boss was like, I'm coming. Don't worry. I'm coming right now to pick you up. And so he drove to my house to go get me because everyone else had called out, only because I was 5 minutes away. I was like, you owe me for this. Well, then a hurricane happened, and then I had to work the hurricane. And let me tell you, you can get really wet as soon as you step outside during a hurricane, and trees can go flying everywhere.
Everywhere. Wow.
But hey, if the job is okay. I was young and naive. I was stupid. But I think the best experiences were the lost and found stuff. When the people would leave stuff and then they'd still call in even without any shame. Like I remember the lost and found lady's like, I just got a call for a lady because she wanted all her vibrators back.
Ooh.
How do you call and be like, hey, can I have those back? And then she wanted them mailed priority too. Like it was urgent. She needed her stuff.
She's like, ASAP.
I remember a guy once left, I think he left $50,000 in one of the hotel safes. and the technician had found it and nobody had called in for it. But of course, policy means you got to turn it in.
Mm. We do have to bring in our guest, but
Yes.
there is a comment from Brittany, and I don't know if should I tell the story just real quick in 1 minute, real quick before we bring in our guest.
But did he turn? I want to know. Did he turn the money in, Stacy? Did he?
Nobody collected it, and the technician got nothing.
Wow.
But it did go to the police.
They spent it. Civil forfeiture. Yeah, we found that at a drug lord's house. We're buying an espresso machine. Yes.
That sucks.